Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmed Dawaz with the latest roundup of sports. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, we tell you about the Under-19 World Cup that is underway in South Africa. Now, the Pakistan team has been performing consistently. We've seen some good performances in batting, bowling, and I think a lot of credit goes to the team management as well, who's able to harness the true potential of this young talent that is there on display as well. We've got Mohammad Yusuf in the camp. You've got Junaid Khan, who has produced results immediately, I think. So I think these are certain things that are truly going in the right direction. But like I always say, the fact is that the conversion of these young players towards the international circuit is something that is very, very important. Now, of course, we're going to have some heroes after a World Cup. You always do after Under-19 World Cup. But how do you groom them? What kind of cricket do you expose them to is very, very important. Because majority what happens is that immediately they're drafted into PSL sides, and then the longer format of the game you're unable to identify players because of the fact that there is so much T20 cricket going on. So I think that another thing that we can put in the under-19 circuit or youth cricket is identifying players for specific formats. So I think that would go a very long way as well, and just letting them know from this age that we want you to play for Pakistan in the future in this particular format, so they can be sure about their choices as well. So we'll talk about that, Pakistan's journey so far. In the last match they beat Ireland. Now they're up against Bangladesh on Saturday. They're at number 2 position. They're equal with India on points, but on run rate they're at number 2, so they've got all the chances of qualifying for the semi-finals as well. So we'll talk about their performance, their journey so far. Then we move on to the big test match. India takes on England in the second test match at Visakhapatnam tomorrow, and it's going to be interesting because England have already won the first test at Hyderabad, so they're carrying a 1-0 lead, something that the host and cricket pundits all around would have never expected. But there are certain changes that need to be talked about. India are going an injury scare, so they're bringing in a lot of changes as well. Ravindra Jadeja, KL Rahul are not available, and there are rumours that probably they've got Washington Sundar, and also Sarfaraz Khan might debut for India. You never know. But if you talk about England, they've made some replacements as well. Jimmy Anderson is going to be playing his test match. We'll talk about that as well and then more. But right after this short break, stay tuned to Sports Extra. And now discussing things in detail, time now to introduce the guests. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by commentator, international broadcaster and presenter, and our sports expert, K. Asif Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Ahmed. I'm very well, thank you.
Great to have you on the show. We've also been joined by sports expert, Mr. Malik Usman. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, I'm doing well.
And we've also been joined by cricket expert and analyst Taha Mohyuddin Khan. Assalamu alaikum, Taha. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, very fine, thank you.
Great to have you as well. Now, of course, we start off the discussion with the under-19 team. Asif, me and you have been discussing it for a while now, and we discussed the fact that these are talented bunch of cricketers, but obviously the team management has made a huge difference, let's be honest. Apart from this World Cup, it's been a disappointing performance from this under-19 lot, but it's good to see that they're at winning ways, and I think we need to especially talk about the leadership of Saad Beg as well.
Well, I would like to highlight this statement of Ubaid Shah that while we're enjoying this, just because of the management, the friendly environment. You know what happened actually, some of the sources were telling that the professor Hafiz came headmaster of the team during the New Zealand series, and the guys, they were under pressure. Though I do not take this serious, but even then it definitely your performance reflects if management is not behaving well. So Ubaid Shah said that the management, in your intro you were talking about the Junaid Shah and the rest of the guys, the way they are behaving and giving good opportunities to these youngsters, go and perform for Pakistan, and when you're winning you're enjoying, of course. The first thing. Second thing, that Pakistan got very good talent in the bowling. Ubaid Shah, then Amir, then Zishan, all of them, they're in good touch. And let's talk about the rest of the spinners as well. I think that the way Pakistan has started this campaign, the Under-19 World Cup, right before the Under-19 World Cup, Pakistan lost against UAE in the Asia Cup. So I think they were under pressure. But the way Pakistan team management worked with them and They came up with good plans and they're executing very well. That's the good thing, that the players, the youngsters, they're just listening to their coaches. And we have watched this video, the way Junaid Khan was working with Ubaid Shah. And I think the way he is giving plan to Ubaid and the rest of the fast bowlers, they're executing well, they're taking wickets. So when your fast bowlers are performing well, you get victories. There's a famous quote that if your fast bowlers are working and they're getting wickets and they're performing well, you win the tournaments.
Absolutely, and I think it's a very justified saying the way things are going in the world of cricket. Usman, like I said, that we've got a talented bunch of cricketers, but obviously the pathway for them into international cricket to joining the mainstream has got to be very calculated, because in our part of the world, this is the platform where you're either going to make a player or break a player.
Yeah, I agree. Pakistan is one of those countries where you have to nurture these kind of players coming through the system under 19, under 16, who can usually go on to become stars in the national team as well, because we don't have a very, very strong domestic system, which needs to change pretty quickly. Apart from countries like Australia, maybe South Africa, and now India as well, they don't rely too much on under 19, and this gives an extra impetus also to these players to perform very well, and they are in very, very good hands. How could have we expected a player like Muhammad Yusuf coaching an under 19 side? And this is a very, very good omen. I hope it continues in the future as well. And this Pakistani side is looking really well, and I think from here on this is just a launching pad, and they should not think this is the end of the world. They are performing well. I hope they go on to win this World Cup as well, but still this is a launching pad and they have a very, very bright future ahead. It's not just about a couple of players, which usually used to happen in our under 19 team. All these bunch of 11 players, they all are performing. Every player is doing something or the other in every game, and that is a very good omen for this side. They are looking well polished, well drilled army, and I think they have good future ahead, and doing well in this country, especially in South Africa and in a World Cup. I think it is going to go a long way in their cricketing history.
Taha, we've got some notable performers there as well, and so far they've shown consistency. Obviously, when they enter a knockout game, it's going to be very important. They still have one more game against Bangladesh. So far things are good. But like I said, we've seen an immediate difference from Junaid Khan. He's come as a bowling coach, Muhammad Yusuf as a head coach. So, things are really changing for these young, talented cricketers.
Well, Ahmed, the credit needs to be given where due. I believe that the thought was being brought in as to how to improve the skill set of the Pakistani cricketers at the international level, and a lot of thought was being given on that by the previous boards as well. And I believe that organizing that major Pakistan Junior League at the under 19 level did a lot of wonders to this team, because you see that some of the stars in this team, they got the opportunity to share the dressing room with the legends of the international cricket, who became their mentors, their coaches. And then the international players also got the chance to play in Pakistan, which helped some of these Pakistani under 19 cricketers to learn the modern day skill set, what should be the fitness regime. Basically, it helped Pakistan to improvise their game, which we are seeing in this tournament. The leading wicket takers, the leading batsmen are from Pakistan. Pakistan looks to be one of the formidable sides to win this tournament. So yes, I believe that Pakistan Junior League was one of the best nurturing platforms at the grassroots level that did a lot of benefit to the Pakistani under 19 cricketers.
Well, the benefit is probably there, and I think it's been there for a while now. We've seen in our part of the world under 16 cricket, under 13, we had under 23s as well, under 19. As Taha mentioned, there was a small stint of the PJL, the Pakistan Junior League, that came into play. Then most of these players then go on to join either grade 2, they play for districts as well. A lot of them are drafted in the first class, so the pathway certainly is there. But Asif, you'd like to comment about something, and the fact is that, we cannot always blame the system. Sometimes it really boils down to the fact that there needs to be an individual effort by the player as well.
Well, of course, in cricket, individual effort is really, really important. If you're not serious with your career and you're just assuming that you're a star and that's it, so I think that it won't work. I would like to add something really important, that we guys are talking about the plans and the execution. Do you remember that when the Ijaz Ahmed was the coach and a credible source informed me that on the semis night, they have decided to go for the bat first after winning the toss. But right after, when they have won the toss, they went for the ball. So I think when you give a plan to your team and you don't even try to execute and you came up with a new plan. So I think these under 19 players, they cannot adjust immediately. Of course, it requires time. You're telling the entire night you're planning that we'll bat first, and in the morning you're telling to your team, no, we are bowling first. So I think credit must go to this management, especially Junaid Khan and Yusuf. Rahul Dravid was the coach and the head of the high performance center of the India. They won the under 19 World Cup. In Pakistan, Nadeem Khan was the high performance center head. I think there's a huge difference. If you see Rahul Dravid, known as steel wall in the world cricket, if you see his record in the test cricket, I think it's remarkable. So that's why if you take good decisions for your cricket and you bring right people in the right position, you take the result. Otherwise, it's really, really difficult. And that's why Pakistan cricket is struggling. Even, if you talk about, yes, we had the debate about the franchise cricket, each and everything, but it relates the performance of the management, what they are doing actually, why they are not giving a plan to the players and why they are not trying to restrict them according to the plans. This is the main question.
Absolutely. Usman, it's absolutely astonishing that a player of a caliber of Rahul Dravid, we're going to come to some numbers as well, which I'd like to highlight, but we're just going towards a short break. Stay tuned. Right, when you talk about the particular case of Rahul Dravid for Indian under-19 circuit, it's astonishing that a gentleman who had more than 13,000 test runs, who had more than 10,000 one-day international run, was given the primary task of the youth team of the Indian side, that was the under-19. And then he was drafted into the national side for India, which he's now the coach of as well. I mean, Usman, why I want to mention this argument, because what is happening since the past couple of years in Pakistan, what we've seen is that you immediately retire from international cricket and you're immediately given the job of the senior side, and then of course you have problem with the results. There is also conflict of interest because these are players you've played with immediately, so things go haywire. Majority of our legends do not wish to work with the under-19 team because for God knows what they think that's not something that suits their caliber. All of this is really something that troubles most people in this part of the world.
So first and foremost, it is not about it suits them or not, it's about lucrative post. It's not a lucrative post being a coach of under-19 side. And secondly, talking about Rahul Dravid, we all have used very good words regarding Rahul Dravid and his coaching skills as regarding the under-19 team. See, I am someone who has been following under-19 cricket for the past maybe 20 years or so. I still believe that even if Rahul Dravid wasn't the coach of Indian team in that World Cup, they would have still won that World Cup. They were a very strong side. But what I think is having a legend at the helm of the affairs, even if you score a 30, 40 good odd runs and he says you have played really well, it gives a lot of boost to your confidence and that can do wonders for you. And that 40 can be converted into 100. As far as Pakistan is concerned, see, many of our coaches, our former players, they don't go through a coaching manual. They don't go through coaching courses or something. They think it's their birthright to become coach or have a esteemed position in the board or in the team as well after a retirement. That shouldn't be the case, and they shouldn't be given everything on the plate itself. So what Yusuf has done right here is, like Rahul Dravid. See, you have to look at the other way as well. Rahul Dravid did not have any coaching credentials until he took up the under-19 coaching. So you have to get to the helm of the affairs from the grassroots level. And once you get into that, you bring out a couple of talent as well. You learn a lot of things from that as well. And once you get into the national team and you get into the streamline of that national team, most of your work and homework has been done before that. What is wrong with Pakistan is having Muhammad Hafiz at the helm of the affairs. He hasn't coached even a street cricket team, and he becomes the coach of the Pakistan national team, and he's coaching Pakistan national team on the tour of Australia, the most challenging tour, then New Zealand, and a couple of months later we have a World Cup. So there is always a conflict of interest, because a couple of months back he was playing, just a couple of months back, and there were rumors that he might be playing in this PSL as well. So he was so close to these players, and there might be, with the looking at the history of Pakistan team, infightings, friendships, groups, positive, negatives. So all of these things can happen, and more importantly, you don't have the experience of coaching a team. So that can become a big problem. What Yusuf has done right, what Junaid Khan has done right, is they are working with the youth. See, they can have a lot of authority on this youth, because they are not going to answer you back. So you can implement your ideas, you can implement your orders. You want the team to play the manner in which they have to play, you can execute them very, very perfectly. And once you get success over there, go into the first class, get some experience over there, you can easily come into, assimilate into the national side, and you can be a very, very successful coach, or whatever you are in that capacity in the national side.
I think that's a very important argument, because Taha, when we look at this certain age of players, you know, instead of imposing your own strategies or your own thought process on them, what you should be doing is getting the skipper and telling him, yes, what do you think of the team? What's your combination? And what you can do is obviously tweak certain things of technicalities, like our bowlers really mentioned that they've had a lot of help. Even Ubaid mentioned that from Junaid Khan, and Junaid was, I think, spot on when he said that he found that Ubaid was reversing the ball. He still needs to learn a lot of skill, and that's what he was doing with him.
Well, you know, one of the interviews that Shahid Afridi gave during his playing time and or post his retirement as well, he said that for the senior side, you don't need an international coach who will tell you how to hold a bat or how to hold a ball. You need someone who has enough coaching credentials at the international level, enough and adequate coaching experience, who has worked with international teams, who has worked with franchise teams, who has worked with the county teams, who has certainly the experience of managing the cricketing players at the international level. You are very right that the Pakistani players who have performed exceptionally well for Pakistan, once they retire, they are being assigned the job of the senior side, which is not suitable at all, because they don't have the adequate coaching experience, they don't have the adequate qualification to basically get assigned with the senior side. Now, Pakistan, what the Pakistani board has done right here, that taking inspiration from the BCCI's textbook, they have hired Mohammad Yusuf, because in the past we saw that not many skilled cricketers or people who had good performances under their belt during their career days were assigned with the Pakistani under-19 team. Pakistan lost horribly to Afghanistan against their quality spin bowling at the under-19 level. What Mohammad Yusuf does, he adds quality to the batting side. He, as you mentioned, that he does those slight
technical adjustments
that could help the batters to face the quality spin bowlings at the international under-19 level.
Right, we'll just go towards a short break, but stay tuned, we'll be right back. And welcome back. Now we talk about the second test match between India and England of the series that now takes place tomorrow at Visakhapatnam. India have already lost the first test match at Hyderabad and it went all bananas. But I think the Barmy Army has been having a great time. So first of all, I think I must take this moment to congratulate the Barmy Army for enjoying their time in Hyderabad so far. And I think that support that Ben Stokes also talked about is certainly something that really goes a long way when you talk about Team England and the glory that they're achieving all around the the world. So congratulations to you, Bahami Army, and keep up the magic that you're doing. Asif, the second test match gets even more interesting because India is now hungry for a comeback. England have already destroyed all their plans and traps that were set in Hyderabad, but now certain changes to the sides are also being made.
Yes, certain changes, a plethora of changes actually. If you talk about their KL Rahul is not there, suffering with the thigh injury. Ravindra Jadeja is suffering with the hamstring. And if you see the roster, lots of changes. As you said in your intro, Washington Sundar might be there, Kumar. So I think India is in trouble after losing first test against England. And but when we talk about their upcoming players, or we might see a debut of Sarfraz Khan. If you see his record, well, this is the way that you give respect to your players who are performing well in the domestic circuit. That he played 45 matches, scored 14 centuries, including 1 triple century. The average is about 70. So this is the right time to give him an opportunity because, KL Rahul is not there. Virat Kohli already, he has apologized for first 2 test matches just because of his personal reasons. I'll be looking forward to see that how Sarfraz Khan performs because, he's getting appreciation all over the world. Even the Pakistani players, Imamul Haq has said it's a great time to give him an opportunity. Good luck, congratulations. And then Surya Kumar Yadav and, from other players as well. In India, they're already, always they're dangerous. But the way England has started is phenomenal.
Usman, the test match was very interesting. I mean, I mentioned this the other day as well, that India did not probably think, and their batters are not majority used to batting in the 4th innings, going to the 3rd or 4th innings. They majority bat once, then they get the opposition out twice and win test matches on those tracks that suit them the best. But we really witnessed a huge technical error on those tracks for them as well.
I think they just outsmarted them. I thought England was simply outstanding, and this baseball that came into full effect, and all these 3-4 days, it was all the talk about what actually is baseball, and everybody was having their own interpretation, whether it's the mindset or whether it's taking on the bowling, whether it is hitting every ball. And in all those circumstances, it was all questions and all confusions, yet the result was pretty decisive, and England did outstandingly well. And you have to give a lot of credit to the style of cricket this England team is playing under Ben Stokes and Brendan McCullum. The fear of failure is out of their mind, and that is outstanding. And listening to Ben Stokes, what he says is that even if we would have lost this test,
and I think especially Ollie Pope, because he was I think the defining moment in this test match has got to be Ollie Pope. That 196 really set the platform for everybody to chip in that test match. Taha, your final thoughts on this test match and what we can now see in the second one tomorrow?
Well, India will be an aggressive side in the second test match because it's their home conditions, and having lost to England the first test match, India will be having good recovery plans to make a comeback in this test series. Lucky test match for Bashir, who makes his debut in place of Leach, who misses out.
Right, definitely. But I think not just a lucky test match for Bashir, lucky that he's finally arrived in India as well. So finally that is sorted, that the youngster received a hero's welcome upon arrival, because immediately as he entered into the dressing room, there was a party going on because they'd won the first test match. So certainly another test match to look out for. England is in a strong position, and it's going to be very interesting how India want to make a comeback as well. That, of course, wraps it up from me and the entire team of Sports Extra. It's goodbye for now.